Welcome back to the Modern Day Cottage. Ruby Ann and I are going to be baking some Christmas holiday recipes that we use here in our cottage kitchen in our home. And we're going to start the day by making a delicious Hashbrown Casserole using fresh potatoes. And I promise you this is not a hard thing to accomplish, and you end up with a better result than using frozen hash browns. So we start by washing the potatoes, and then we're going to use a food processor to grate them. And then you want to soak them in cold water up to 10 minutes. And you can find that post at themoderndaycottage.com, that blog post, and we'll link it below as well. And any affiliate links that we list below, we do make a small commission at no cost to you. So we're going to work in batches, and we're going to cut up 32 ounces of potatoes, which is 4 cups. But I go ahead and weigh the potatoes, skin and all, so that way I've got the correct amount. And you're going to cut up half of a medium onion, and you can use a red onion, yellow onion, or white onion. It doesn't have to be specifically a white onion that we're using here today. But I do find they have more flavor in them. And you're going to use 2 cloves of garlic as well. And you're going to chop them up, and you can chop them up finely or rough, whatever texture you prefer. But we like them chopped up pretty good. And you're going to mix them into the potatoes that you have soaked. And you're going to want to soak the potatoes and pour it out and rinse them. And that's what I'm doing here, is I'm rinsing off the surface starch. That's what you're going to be getting off when you soak them. And it helps with the texture, because if you don't rinse them, you end up with like a gooey, uncooked, like cookie dough texture. But if you rinse them off, you'll end up with a crispy hash brown texture in your hash brown casserole. And that's the texture we're going for. The work involved is worth the effort, I promise you. Alright, so we're using a towel, and I wring it out a little bit more to get as much moisture off as I can. Getting as much moisture off as I can. And we're going to combine the onion and the garlic into the rinsed and dried potatoes. And I'm going to add some salt and pepper as well. And we are going to pan fry this in a cast iron, working in batches, because you want to do a thin layer. And you want to cook them for 2 to 3 minutes. This again helps to get the flavors to marry, because you've got the onion, the garlic, the salt, and the pepper, and you've got the potatoes, and it just helps bring out all those flavors. Get ready to make 2 batches of this if you do it step by step how we are doing it here in our cottage kitchen, because it is absolutely delicious. A delectable meal. We make this for Christmas morning while we're packaging gifts. It's just a very good, wholesome casserole to eat for brunch, lunch, dinner, or supper. Alright, so we're greasing a 9x13 baking pan, and we're mixing in 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese and cream of chicken soup, and the butter and the sour cream and the minced onion. And you're going to mix all that up. And then you're gonna brown 1 pound of sausage. You can use mild or hot. We use mild here in our cottage kitchen. And you want to mix that in there as well after you brown it. Here, we're going to brown it in the cast iron skillet. We use cast iron as much as possible here in our cottage kitchen. Alright, so you're just going to add it to the potato mixture and make sure it's well incorporated. And then you're just gonna pour it into the pan, the grease pan that you prepare, a 9 by 13. And you're gonna bake it at 350 for 45 to 55 minutes. And I top it with a little bit of extra cheddar cheese. And when it's done, I will cut up some scallion tops that we have out in the garden. They're called chives or green onions. They make a pretty presentation on the top after you've baked it. It is one of my favorite Christmas dishes to make. You can make this any time of the year, but to me, it is Christmas time when we start making the Hashbrown Casserole. It is so good. Right now we're going to make a dried orange garland to decorate different areas in our cottage, and also for gift packaging as well. It is a simple and easy craft to make that helps bring a little bit of coziness into your home for the holiday season. We're slicing them as thin as possible, and we're going to bake them in the oven at 200 degrees. And again, you can find this blog post as well at themoderndaycottage.com.
If there's any left in the bowl, it's fine, because it's
really slow and steady with the heat, and you end up with a very pretty orange result. It takes several hours, and again, the instructions will be on our blog at themoderndaycottage.com. We love how it looks hanging on the curtain, on the garland that we made behind us above the sink, and we put them in between the wreaths. It reminds me of Little House on the Prairie and Little Women. It just, doing this craft reminds me of growing up in simpler times in the 80s as well. We would do this, and also do popcorn and cranberry strings and put on the tree.
And then I would just tie it.
It's when families spent more time together and crafted together. It just helps us slow down and embrace the holiday season, and adds a little special aesthetics to our decor that, it says handcrafted, it says made with love. Those are the gifts that really mean something, or at least they do to me. I love handmade gifts. I love that someone took time to make something and give to me from a gift of love from their heart. So you can do this different ways. We're just doing it very simple. We're doing it on a burlap twine, and we're just tying it and pushing it through the interior of the orange. I'm using a knife to help make a little hole so I don't rip too big of an area. And I just kind of spaced it out a little bit so I can hang it above the sink. It is so pretty when the sun comes through it. It's like a sun catcher as well. And at night we put some fairy lights on the greenery that we put there. It is so magical looking. I do believe Ma Inkles would be proud of us. Or Marmee. Marmee would be proud of us as well. Now we're going to make our famous sourdough fruitcake here in our cottage kitchen. This is a delectable fruitcake, I promise you. It is not like the store-bought fruitcake at all. We're using organic dried fruit and candied crystallized organic ginger as well, and peach brandy. It is so good. My husband that hates fruitcake loves this fruitcake. He absolutely loves this recipe. I have to hide it. Literally, I hide it in our kitchen in our cast iron Dutch oven. And when they want a piece of it, I have to hide that I'm even getting it out of there because it's that good. And we want to save it until Christmas Day, but we do make 2 loaves of it so that way we can eat one during Christmas Day and after, but one before then because we just can't wait. It's that good. We're using mulled cider that we made, that recipe as well on the blog. We're using a cup at first, and you want to save the half a cup for the end because you're going to mix that into the batter. But this is going to be the sourdough sponge that you're making that's going to sit overnight. And we're using all-purpose flour, sourdough starter, and our mulled cider as the liquid. And we're just going to mix this up roughly and let it set. You're just going to mix it up well until it's incorporated, and it's still going to be dry and sandy like, but that's fine. Just cover it and we're going to let it set overnight. The next day, we're going to cream the butter and the sugar. And Ruby Ann is going to do that. And I'm going to zest an orange, a lemon, and a lime, and juice them as well. And that is going to go into your creamed butter sugar mixture. You're also going to use 4 eggs in this recipe. So we're going to use the zest of the orange, lemon, and the lime, and we're going to put it into the creamed sugar mixture. The smell is amazing. It is so, this cake is so good. Like, again, I have to hide it. It is that good, I promise you. I do not like fruitcake from the store, and it took me some convincing to even try fruitcake. And Ruby and I first tried a recipe we found in I can't remember what book it was. It's an old like 1980s like Southern Living book, I think. We didn't really like the outcome. I liked the taste a little bit, and then we just kept working on it for the past, I want to say, 4 years. we toasted some walnuts and pecans on the stove using our cast iron, and we're sprinkling in the seasonings and the baking soda. And you're going to mix that in as well with the sugar mixture. And now you're going to mix it into the overnight sourdough sponge that you made. And we quickly figured out we needed to put it into the stand mixer and not mix it by hand, because the sourdough was not incorporating well into the sugar, butter, seasoning, and nut mixture. Oh, and the citrus as well. So we put it on a stand mixer, and you're going to mix this up until well incorporated. And this is going to make two 9-inch loaf pan size. You can use different pans if you want to. Just check it and keep an eye on it, and check it with a toothpick, and make sure you don't over bake it. That's the main thing. But we lined it with parchment paper because of the dried fruit that's been soaked in brandy. It's very sticky. So we didn't want the fruit to stick into the pan, so we greased the pans with coconut oil and lined them with parchment paper. And you can find that recipe at themoderndaycottage.com. Oh, the smell is amazing. It is a delicious treat to have during the holiday season. Now I'm basting it with more peach brandy. It doesn't matter about the brand, honestly. We've bought cheap peach brandy before and it did great. We've bought more expensive and it still turned out just as wonderful. So whatever your budget allows, but peach brandy is the pro tip here in making a delicious sourdough fruitcake. It is so good. It is one of our favorite treats during the holiday season. Thank you for watching with us today here at the Modern Day Cottage. And as always, we will bring you homemade recipes, cottage living, and a cozy home. We'll see you in the next video.